Spokane Radio Theatre is now on the air.
A Merry Cougar Christmas by Daniel Guyton. Our cast: Sylvia, performed by Laurie Perry. Ethel, performed by Mary Jo Rudolph. Miguel, performed by Aaron Carcallan. I am your narrator, Laurel. Sylvia and Ethel, both about 70, sit at a table in a mall food court. They have finished their meals and are enjoying a cup of tea.
Ooh, Ethel, look at that one. He has got some tight little buns on him.
She waves at someone close by.
Hello, sweetie. Hi.
Oh, Sylvia, that's terrible. I think he's still in high school.
Hey, if there's grass on the field, Ethel, I'm playing ball. Well, hello there, young man. What are you doing Christmas Eve? Yeah? 'Cause I got some milk and cookies back at my place that you could eat.
Sylvia, please. You're embarrassing me.
Oh, lighten up, Ethel. If you can't say whatever you want at this age, when can you say it? Hey, you! Yes, you! With the mohawk and those skinny little jeans on. What do you say Grandma takes you on a moonlight stroll over to Toys R Us, kid? And you can buy whatever you want. What do you say?
Sylvia, this is not... when you said you wanted to go to the mall and check out the men, I thought you meant over by Brookstone or the hearing aid place. This is not what I had in mind.
I am not spending another Christmas Eve alone, Ethel. George has been dead for 6 years now, and I am ready to move on.
Yes, but with children? These boys are 12 years old, Ethel. You want someone manly, with experience. That one over there is younger than your grandson, for God's sake.
You don't know what I want, Ethel. Just 'cause you're a stuck-up old prude doesn't mean I need to live by your standards. I have needs, too, you know. Hey there, big fella. You look all grown up and manly now, don't you?
He's riding an electric aeroplane, Sylvia. I don't think that's...
No, not that one. The one in the green shirt over there, over by Hot Topic.
Oh, well, yes. He looks like he's in the double digits at least. I do enjoy spending time with you, Sylvia, but this is not what I had in mind.
What? What you had in mind? So what did you have in mind, Ethel? Little old lady stuff? Maybe we'd go out and buy a crocheting needle. Perhaps a paisley yellow scarf to match your afghan. Well, I am sick and tired of being sick and tired, Ethel. I'm only as old as I feel, and I feel like I'm 27. And I am going to live out the rest of my days like I really am 27. Do you hear me? Now I know you loved Ralph, Ethel. We all did. And I am so sorry that the cancer took him the way it did. Lord knows he took better care of himself than you and I ever did. But he's dead. And for whatever reason, God has seen fit to keep us alive. Can you see the irony in that, Ethel? Alive! So you can choose to look this gift horse in the mouth if you want to, but I am going to live. And I'll be hot darned if I'm going to go out and find another man whose foot is halfway into the grave as well as mine is. I want someone young and vibrant and reminds me that life is for the living and death is for everyone else. Do you hear me? And what about you? Or are you going to spend another Christmas Eve all by your lonesome, crying about Ralph?
Ethel stands.
I am not opposed to dating, Sylvia. Ralph gave me permission before he died. And I would like to meet somebody new, but when I do, I want it to be someone who's my age, that I have something in common with. How can I have a conversation about Sponge Pants Square Bob or Justin Bieber? I don't know any of these things.
So you listen, you learn. You don't have to know anything, Ethel. You just have to ask them questions about themselves. These kids today, they're so self-involved. They don't care what you have to say. All they want to do is talk about themselves. Think about your grandkids, Ethel. Do they ever ask about you? No? It's always, Grandma, let me tell you about this. Grandma, let me tell you about that. Well, it's no different when you date them, Ethel, I promise. Only in this case, if you're lucky, they'll be naked. And that's the fun part.
Sylvia!
What? I'm just saying.
How many children have you slept with?
Oh, please. You can call them children if you want to, Ethel, but in the eyes of the law, they are perfectly mature adults. And in the eyes of Sylvia McQueen, they're perfectly mature adults as well.
She sits.
I don't know whether to be fascinated or appalled.
See? That's how I felt the first time one of these young whippersnappers started flirting with me also. I was in line over there at the Mongolian Beef Palace, minding my own business, when this tall, dark, handsome 22-year-old hunk of a man tapped me on the shoulder. Dark hair, blue eyes, biceps nearly ripping through his 2 sizes too small t-shirt. He told me I had dropped a $20 bill on the ground, which I knew I hadn't. But I accepted it anyway. If living with George had taught me one thing, it's that you never correct a man when he's wrong. It only makes him angry. So I thanked him, and I offered to buy him a Kung Pao chicken as a thank you. He said, I'll only let you do that if I can sit with you. Of course I said yes. And what a nice young man you are. He proceeded to tell me his whole life story about how his grandmothers both died when he was little, and his fascination with older women ever since. And he told me I looked just like the photograph he had of his Grandma Rose. Before long, I found myself alone with him in his college dorm room, and we spent the most incredible 3 nights of my life together. Nothing naughty the first night, just talking. The next morning, I pleasured him, and he put me into positions that George had never dreamed of. He went away for fall break 2 months ago, and I never heard from him again. But I've been hooked on these young stallions ever since. The next boy was a Marine just back from Afghanistan. I picked him up from the bus station. I don't know what prompted me to wait for young Marines at the bus station, but sure enough, it worked. And this poor young thing stepped off the bus, just back from defending our country. Poor dear, and not one person was there to pick him up that evening. But I was. And I offered him a ride, if you know what I mean. He was so very grateful, if you know what I mean. And outside of a little PTSD and some nerve damage that he sustained from a nearby sarin gas explosion, he was quite capable, if you know what I mean. His hands were a little shaky, but so were George's at the end there, so that didn't bother me any. In any case, the third boy was...
Sylvia, please. I just ate.
You said you were fascinated.
No, I said I wasn't sure if I was fascinated or appalled. I think I've found my answer.
Oh, come on now. What's so appalling about a little fun?
These are one-night stands, Sylvia. Aren't you worried about diseases, STDs?
Please, Ethel, I'm on so many antibiotics for my thyroid. What difference does it make? Besides, these men make me feel gorgeous inside. I haven't felt this way since before George, really. He was a decent lover, truth be told, but he never made me feel beautiful. Do you know what I mean?
I sincerely hope you find what you're looking for, Sylvia. But I don't know if I can be a part of this any longer.
Ethel gathers her belongings and starts to stand.
Did Ralph ever cheat on you, Ethel?
What? No, Ralph was a very devoted husband. Everything I've ever wanted. Why?
No reason.
Ethel sits.
What do you know?
Well, nothing about Ralph, of course, but George had 7 mistresses over the course of our marriage. Did you know that? I knew of one of the girls at the time, but after he died, 3 of them showed up at his funeral. Another 2 sent flowers. I finally asked his secretary how many there were in total, including herself. unfortunately. And, well, after a great deal of arguing and a threat of mutilation with a drool-encrusted letter opener, she told me 7. I am convinced she was telling the truth. And do you know how old the oldest of these women was, Ethel? 34 years old. And that was 8 years after they had broken up. George was 69 at the time of his death. And you think that this is appalling?
She points to the boys around her.
I finally understand why he did it, though. The vibrancy of youth, it's like a drug, the elixir of life. It makes me feel immortal, if I can be completely honest. And I've discovered something magical through all of this that has helped me out immensely. George did not sleep with younger women because of me, Ethel. He did it because he was afraid of death.
Well, that may be true, but I am not afraid. I've lived a very pleasant life, loved a warm and wonderful man, and raised 2 adoring children, watched my grandchildren graduate from grade school. I am fully prepared for the next leg of my journey, whatever that may be.
Well, I'm not. They'll have to drag me kicking and screaming to my grave.
Yes, but if you keep kicking and screaming like this, Sylvia, you might end up there sooner than you think.
We'll see.
Miguel, a food court employee, approaches them.
Excuse me.
Yes?
Oh, well, hello there.
Hi. Are you ladies done with your trays?
But of course.
She hands him her tray, making googly eyes at him the entire time.
So, what's your name?
Ethel rolls her eyes.
Miguel, thank you.
He looks at Ethel.
And yours?
Oh, my tray? Here.
She hands him her tray. He takes her hand instead.
No, your name.
Oh, my, Ethel.
Ethel. That is a beautiful name, Ethel.
He gets down on one knee.
You look like my grandma Sofia Consuela Francesca. God rest her soul.
He crosses himself.
She was the most beautiful woman in all of Puerto Rico.
Ethel touches her chest in an "oh my" moment. She looks at Sylvia, who shrugs and smiles as if to say, "Told you so," as she picks up her purse.
On that note, I guess I'll call you tomorrow, Ethel. Or maybe in 3 or 4 days.
No, wait. I don't want to...
Shh. It was very nice to meet you, Miguel.
She offers him her hand. He barely looks at her as he shakes it.
Yes, you too. Ethel, now, where were we?
Sylvia waves and leaves. She looks to Sylvia for answers, but she's gone.
I don't know.
Please, what are you doing this evening?
I am, well, you see, I was just going to bake some cookies for Christmas. I am...
Can I help you? I love to make cookies.
Oh, I don't suppose well, I guess I don't see the harm in that, really.
Miguel stands, still holding her hand, which forces her to stand also. Their bodies are pressed together.
Good. I can't wait until you taste my dough.
Oh, well, yes, I see. Well, in that case, Merry Christmas to me.
He smiles warmly at her, and she laughs nervously as he leads her away.
You just heard A Merry Cougar Christmas by Daniel Guyton of Fayetteville, Georgia.